Welcome, class, to week 2 of organizational leadership and assessment. This week we'll be focusing on a couple of case studies. You'll be reviewing the content from the text and then giving feedback on the distinction between these two. Notice a series of questions about how they might be similar or dissimilar based on things like their technology, their location, their size and age, and how well you think you might fit into joining either of these organizations. Learning activity 2 will be our role play. You'll each take turns representing the cultural assessment consultant coming in to introduce the assessment process to this organization. This is a great time to start to fine tune your ability to explain this whole concept of organizational assessment, how you might present it to a company in a way that is productive, positive, encouraging, and try to ask some questions of the consultant as you take turns on this to fine tune our ability to respond to questions like, well, why do we really need to have assessment? Or what are you going to ask? Or things like that. Learning activity 3, you're going to identify 2 organizations that interest you and then do some internet research on them, back up on the history of them, their startup, how they're connected to the organization's startup in terms of what you've learned about them from your research. Imagine if you were to join this organization. Are they growing? Are they devolving in the face of the changes in business and industry? Technology is at a breakneck pace these days, and we are in a global economy. So, how do you think you might react if you're really part of that? And finally, we're going to dive into statistics and talk about gathering statistical information. Read one of my favorite books. So I wish I had this book when I was in my stats programs, a cartoon introduction to statistics. Then you're going to write a 2 to 4 page paper on the EQI 2.0. Notice all the questions that are reflected in here. They're important to understand the purpose of it, the standard scores, mean and standard deviation. Now, you're not going to have to become a statistical expert, but you need to be conversant with these statistical themes in order to represent them to a company. I'll be sharing with you some of my beliefs and encouragements about assessment and some of my caveats. They are very useful and can be extraordinarily dangerous. So I'll be looking forward to reading your work on that and spending time with you online. God bless.